you either have or are seriously looking at one of the L-mount cameras, and you want a walking around lens, not a zoom, a single focal length, a prime that you can use day or night, that you can use for stills or video, and maybe it's even got some bokeh that you can play with depth of field. Well, Sigma just came out with a 35mm f1.4 art lens for the L-mount cameras. That's what we're going to talk about today. What do you get when you get this lens? Well, you get this lovely box. And if you live in Canada, I don't know about other jurisdictions around the world, but in Canada, you get a 7-year warranty if you buy this lens through an authorized reseller. So that's pretty interesting. And frankly, that was one of my first, wow. The lens comes in a very padded case, which is lovely. It's got a belt loop if you want to do that kind of thing. And it comes with an instruction booklet. Yes, and the instruction booklet has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, apparently 15 languages, if I counted properly. That's a lot. Go over there, fly, be free. Also comes with a warranty sticker, so you don't have to type in the serial number of your lens. Well, that's kind of nice, I guess. In the case, believe it or not, we have a lens and a pedal lens hood, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Case is nice, it's padded. I'm not sure when I would use it, but it's a nice case. I'm going to go back to front on this. So lens cap, rubber gasket, because this lens is splash and dust proof. Which is good. I don't like my gear to slow me down. If I'm going to go out and take shots of something in particular and it's raining, I don't care. I'm going out in the rain, so it's nice to have that. All metal body. It's pretty solid. There is a manual focus, autofocus switch, which really requires effort. So you're not going to knock that by mistake and have it ruin an upcoming shot. That's good. Way to go. Focus ring is beautifully damped, maybe a little bit on the stiff side, but again, that's not a bad thing because you're not going to nudge it by mistake and knock your shot out of focus. Lens cap, which is nice. There's a 67mm mounting ring on here so that you can put an ND filter or a circular polarizer. Don't put a UV filter on it. That's the stupidest thing ever. That's dumb. That doesn't make any sense. This pedal lens hood, first of all, I'm not a fan of pedal lens hoods. I prefer lens hoods that actually go all the way around. But okay. When it goes on, that can happen really easily. And there isn't a... If you look at it, there's a little dent in here where you would think this would go in and click. It does not. You can go right to the end and still have it fall off. So that actually is probably my only gripe about this lens. And we'll look at images in a minute. You can get it to go on and stay, but it's not, I didn't find it intuitive. First impressions when I picked up this lens, I took it out of the box right at the store, put it on the camera, and started taking shots in downtown Toronto. So first impressions were, it's an art lens, so it is a little bit heavy. It's not too heavy, but I actually weighed it. And compared to what Sigma says at 665 grams on their website, I did weigh it with the back cap and the lens cap on. I don't think of them as very heavy. Anyways, it came in at 773 grams or a pound and 11 ounces. So it's reasonably heavy lens. It's also long. If I take the lens cap off, this is the kit lens, the 24-105, and it's actually longer than that. So that's weird. But anyways, it is what it is. It feels very balanced in the hand when you're walking around with it. The second kind of big thing that I walked away from the first time I used this was a vignette. At f1.4, there is I would say, a strong vignette. I wouldn't say it's a bad vignette, as long as your subject is towards the middle of the frame. If your subject is off on the sides, then you're going to have to use, Lightroom or Capture One Pro and take the vignette tool and just de-vignette the image a bit and smooth that out. When you stop up to f2 or so, the vignette is drastically reduced, and by f2.8 it's gone. Focus speed. So let's talk about that. I've got a test on that coming up. It is not as fast as a native lens, but it's usable. I didn't find it was lagging. I didn't find it was hunting terribly or that kind of thing. So that's fine. If you're using autofocus continuous on your camera for video, that's a little different. You're going to want to go into the settings and deal with the sensitivity and the speed on your camera if you've got one of the F-series cameras, and you're going to want to speed it up because natively, without changing anything, the focus is very smooth and very slow, and so that's problematic, and I'll show you that in a second. For the autofocus continuous test, what I've done is I've got the camera set to video mode, I have it set to continuous, I have not touched the sensitivity for autofocus, I have not touched the speed for autofocus. And so I'm just going to shoot some things here in my studio. Oh, that case looks like it's focused. Let's try that. Fine dehumidifier. That was pretty quick. Let's try something close. Like my zoom here. Very nice. Let's try the GH5. Yeah, let's try the G9. That's good. Let's try that case again. So you can see it works. It's not spectacular, but there are settings in the camera that you can change for that. Yeah. For the autofocus speed test, what I did was set up some targets in here and then set up the camera so that you could see and hear what it was I was doing and what the camera was doing. So I set the camera up in such a way that I double tap on the screen, the camera goes looking to focus, it achieves focus, it beeps, and then it takes the shot. And you can see how quickly it does that, both with the Sigma 35 f1.4 art lens, as well as the native kit lens. And you'll be able to judge for yourself which is faster. I wanted to include a couple other samples, so notice the three people over on the right hand side, nice and sharp, but as you look back through the image, things are less and less in focus, which is lovely. As a walking around lens, I think this does a really nice job. Obviously I've stylized this in black and white, but these images are really sharp and lots of detail. I don't mind the vignette, it's lovely. And talk about detail, let's go over to the left, further. At about 500%, look, you can still see the wisps of smoke at the end of the cigarette. When you close the aperture all the way down, you can blur the images. I don't even know what that was. Sigma has given us a lovely lens in this 35mm f1.4 art lens for the L-mount cameras. Lovely metal construction, nicely damp focus ring. You're not going to bump this. It's weather sealed. 67mm mounting thread for filters if you do that kind of thing. Decent focus speed. Can't complain. What else? Autofocus continuous works, not very quickly. 7-year warranty, at least in Canada. I hope that's the same where you are. And the most important thing is great definition in the images, even at f1.4. Look at the mannequins sitting over here in this image. I'm shooting all the way across the plaza, across 4 lanes of traffic and a big sidewalk, and then through the store window, and you can clearly still see the mannequins quite a distance away with a 35mm lens. That's amazing. This is giving us great resolution, which is what you want in a lens. So thanks very much. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If you've got questions or comments, put them below. I'll try and answer. If you want to subscribe, that'd be fantastic. If you want to hit the bell, then you'll be notified when I do the next thing, which by the way should be the 85mm f1.4 art lens for the L-mount cameras, because I need a kind of classical focal length portrait lens, which I can use for portraits or fashion in the studio here. And that'll do the job, so I'll talk about that next. Thanks for watching. See you soon.